Anthony. Okay. Hi, welcome. Producer Michael Sugar. Producer Anthony Bregman. Naomi Harris. Edward Norton. Will Smith. Helen Mirren. Jacob Lattimore. Director David Frankel. And screenwriter, producer Alan Loeb. Okay. Welcome to the Collateral Beauty press conference. My name is Corey Murray, and I'm the entertainment director at Essence Magazine. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. I saw the film a couple of months ago, and I loved it. And I was grateful that they asked me to do this. But I have two housekeeping things. Please turn off your cell phones. Please, please, please. Thank you.
Airplane mode will do. Airplane mode. You have to actually turn it off.
And my second housekeeping is that, one of the great things about this film is sort of the magic of the reveal at the end. So we ask that you kindly try not to spoil it in your reporting. I know. But it's the magic. It's what makes it special. So let's get started. Alan, what was the spark for, and I'm going to ask two questions and then open it up to everyone. Alan, what was the spark for this story?
I wanted to, it was a bunch of years ago. I had this idea for about 9 years ago. I didn't write it until about a year and a half, 2 years ago. But I just wanted to write, the first concept was someone writing letters to these abstractions. And I didn't even know what they were, but then eventually that kind of landed on time, love, and death. And then I kind of built it out from there over the period of years, actually. I just started with the idea of someone writing letters and the idea of his friends, his coworkers, his employees, I wasn't sure who they were, gaslighting him, actually. Like finding the letters and gaslighting him in order that they could sell the company. Actually, it wasn't as benevolent as in the movie. I think it is benevolent. I think they care about him. In my earlier concepts, they just wanted to cash out, which makes him less likable. And it just kind of came together from there, and I had no idea what it was. And for years, it was just a story that kind of haunted me and stayed with me until finally I pounded it out in like 2014.
But it was the right time.
Yes, and I loved it.
Michael, you're following up a great year you had. Congratulations for Spotlight. You were produced on Spotlight.
And he had a new baby.
And I had a baby.
Oh, congratulations. Double
Cooper.
congratulations. So what were the similarities? I know they're both ensemble films, but were there any other similarities?
I would like to say there are a lot of similarities in the sense that, they're very different films, obviously, but what attracted me to this story is similar to what attracted me to Spotlight, which is that Spotlight was a group of people giving a voice to a group of people that didn't have one, and I think that thematically is a big runner in this movie. Each of the characters have something to say that they weren't able to say. And obviously, Howard's character in particular wasn't able to speak for quite a long time. So for me, that is something that I find very human. We all have something to say, and we're all looking for someone to hear us. And so for me, that was the connective tissue. And I'm really just as proud of this film as I was of that one.
Okay, great.
And people should take note of it.
All right. Right here in the plaid.
No, we can hear you. Go ahead. Use your big boy voice.
Yes. All right. Will Smith. What was the appeal here that made you say I have to do Howard and not Bridget, as the sign in front of you says? And for Helen, you're the really only light comical relief in this very serious movie, and you get to send up your profession. And I just wondered if that humor was in the script, or it was something you brought about her wanting to always do more, and also if you based it on anybody specifically.
You want to go first?
You go first. No, you go first. Yeah.
I wanted you to go first because I forgot what he asked me. Oh, why this roll? Okay, all right. I was trying to cover that. When I first read the screenplay, it spoke to that Christmas flavor that I remember growing up, and It's a Wonderful Life, and those types of films that are right on the edge of fantasy, with that Christmas magic to it, right on the edge, but dealing with things that are deeply and powerfully real and human. There was a timing in my life also with this film, with the pursuit of the ideas. I love that this was a guy who had the world on a string. Everything was perfect. He had it. He had life figured out, and then suffered a loss and had to make his way back to even believing there was a possibility to have joy again. So I love that journey. It was really close to the Howard thinks about life, a lot of the ways that I think about life, and how he had to move from his mind. He had to move from thinking that he could solve all of the issues of life with his mind, and into accepting that there's a certain amount of bleeding that you have to do to be able to purge and cleanse yourself, to be able to experience joy, that the pain and joy and growth are all inexorably bound.
Helen?
See,
that's-
it is tough, like you forget your question.
Now, are you allowed 2 questions?
Yeah.
Yes, they're all nodding, because sometimes I know you guys get really cross. You've had your 1 question. All right. No, I just, because I was playing, personifying death, I just wanted it to be as alive as possible. And my sort of way in through that, whether that came out funny or not, was sort of nothing to do with me, really. I was just trying to be as alive as possible.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good morning.
First things first, love the movie. It's very thought-provoking. It's hard, very touching, sprinkled with humor, which made it even more beautiful. Now, my question is, we've all experienced some sort of loss in life. Prior to the film, and now that the film is over, will you change anything in any kind of future loss in the upcoming years or whatever?
Well, I was going to avoid that, and I was going to let someone else answer that.
I think we should leave the election out of this.
Yeah.
I said let's leave the election out of this.
No, I think my experience during the time of working on the film is my father was diagnosed with cancer, and he was given 6 weeks during the process of working on the film. So it was a truly beautiful time for he and I, as I was in Howard's mind, studying and reading all of the different religious bases for being able to find an answer for how we recover from this kind of loss. I was sharing that with my father through the experience, everything from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, and to Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, everything that you'd possibly do to deal with the inevitable pain of death. I was able to do that in Howard's do it as Howard, but also be able to share and work on that with my father. So the idea of that loss and that type of pain, this movie and this film and these ideas have changed me forever. So it's something that it's the ultimate human difficulty. How do you deal with death and loss? And it was the perfect life art confluence, and it was that the right word, confluence?
It was very much so.
pretty
Yes.
close. Okay.
Dead on.
Yeah.
Dead on.
I always confuse confluence with conflagration. I think one's a fire, one's a fire, and the other one's two things blended.
Yes.
So, it was the ultimate art and life confluence, and for me, I hope that people can feel the depth and power of what's going on in the film. There's a thing, so for example, with the, in my mind, I had decided that Howard had moved to Buddhism from when the movie starts, that he's now trying Buddhism. And there's even a shot that David put in that goes across the teachings of Buddha in the scene when he's writing the letters. And there's a thing that the Buddhist monks do, the mandalas, where they for 12 or 14 hours a day, they do these beautiful sand mandalas, right? And they work all day and they slave all day, and they stand up and they look at it for 60 seconds and wipe it away, right? This beautiful piece of art, and they just destroy it for the practice of impermanence. So that's sort of what the idea of what I was working on with the dominoes. That Howard works and he creates these dominoes, these beautiful domino mazes, tips them, and turns and doesn't even watch it fall, as the practice of impermanence and letting things go. So I am forever changed from working on Collateral Beauty.
To follow up with that, though, really quickly, Naomi, Ed, and Jacob, how did you all relate to your characters? What did you connect to?
I was just going to say, everything Will said, me too.
I think for me, I think I just related to the concept of time, just like, well, I think Rafi, his whole purpose is to get Howard to realize the importance of time. What are we doing with our time right now, and how long are we spending in this moment, and things like that. And I think I related to that the most. Like, what am I doing with my time right now? How am I learning more, or what am I going through, and how do I get past this moment? And what we do on this bridge of time is so important, and I think I related to that the most.
Well, I actually haven't. Ooh, sorry about that. I haven't really suffered a death. Wow, what's going on with my? I'm going to lean back and project.
The abstractions coming through.
So I haven't really suffered a death in my life, and I think that's one of the things that attracted me to the piece, because I think that death is such an important part of life. I think only when you come to terms with death can you really appreciate the fragility and also the beauty of life. And so I was interested in going on a journey that would explore that. And we were really lucky, both Will and I, that one of the ladies who worked, she was actually Will's wardrobe assistant, Miley, and she had lost her daughter. And she was able to share that story of losing this little child with us. And it was so traumatic to hear about the suffering that she had been through. But it was also incredible to see that she had found the collateral beauty in that, and how it had changed her life. And in some respects, for the better, she said. Yeah. She saw the beauty of life in so much more of a profound way that I don't think I yet have not been able to see that beauty in life. And that was a really wonderful journey. It really helped me grow. And so that's what I took away from it.
And she had a new baby, so she was working. She was actually taking the film for the process of being able to purge and to be able to use her pain artistically for other people. So she had lost a child, and now her new baby was how old?
6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
So she had a brand new baby after losing a child. So that circle of life was a beautiful asset to have on set.
Okay, we have someone has the mic. Sorry.
About 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Oh, no.
This film tells us to keep faith and be positive and believe in love. But sometimes people are fragile. But if you lose faith, love, time, and death, what would torture you the most?
Well, if death dressed like Helen Mirren, I'd be cool with that. Like,
We didn't quite understand. Love time, which would torture you the most, did you say? If you haven't found the collateral beauty, what would be the most painful of those three elements? I would say time, probably. Probably time, because I think if you're in a very dark place, time, I'm sure, can become a very painful thing.
Nothing tortures me more than love.
Really?
Nothing tortures me more than love.
Really? That's
There's
interesting.
nothing in life that I experience more pain around than love. That, you know, even in dealing with my father's passing, what it comes back to me and how I react to that is, Jada, you're not loving me enough. You know, it's like everything is about, listen, if we gonna die, we need to spend more time together. You know, it's like it's the craving for love for me is far beyond the loss of death and far beyond the punishment of time. Like
Interesting.
This is why Will and I connect, because I often think, Jada, you're not loving me enough.
We have another question over here. The microphone. We're going to follow the microphone. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Zay, and I ditto my man here. This movie was great. There was a couple times where I felt my allergies coming on. I wasn't sure. Now, as you said, there's plenty of magic in this movie and humanism and stuff, but there's something extra special, I think, about magic in New York City.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But this movie could have been done anywhere and been just as good. Why New York City for this particular one?
Because I live here.
You live here.
Let's let David take it.
David, David.
I think Christmas in New York is just a special time, and I think it represents a magical world to people who live in every city on the globe, you know. And so it was just a terrific opportunity to set the movie here, and I don't think it could have happened anywhere. I think there's something really special about this city at Christmas that. That's hard to describe, but you know, I think you get a window into it. You know, with when Howard's riding across the bridges, and when DeWitt and Claire are standing in front of the Bergdorf windows, and you know, there are just these iconic images that we associate with magic.
Yeah.
There's something too, I think, about
Nah, that's terrible.
The conceit. When I watched the film, it struck me that New York's chaos and density helps you believe that these things could be taking place. You know, there needs to be a lot of distraction. It's almost like a magic trick when people say, you know, you get someone to look over here and a guy in a gorilla suit comes on stage and no one sees it. New York has such a tumble to it that it lets you buy into the idea that something like this could be going on.
Thank you. Will Smith, you've come from sort of, I believe, a sort of bad boy image, or at least in the films, you know, many of which are classics, to more moving characters, very soft-spoken, very emotional, like in this film. Do you sort of see that transgression? Do you see yourself, you know, throughout the course of your career, becoming closer to these emotional roles? And would you be going that way in the future as well for future roles? And perhaps to the producers, if you could just comment on the timing of this movie. Would such a movie be possible in summer, or given that it's Christmas, people are more open to a film like this? Thank you.
I think as I'm just having more life experiences that are allowing me to be able to connect to different, you know, more complex, deeper human emotions, you know, and as an artist, I am my tool, you know, so my life experience is my well. So as I have more life experiences, my daughter just turned 16, right? So, you know, I watched my 16-year-old daughter drive away from the house, you know, with her driver's license, so it's like that's my youngest child is 16. So now I'm open to be able to deliver unique and different textured performances of a father with a 16-year-old daughter. So as I'm growing older, and I've been in the spotlight for 30 years. I released my first record. Jeff and I celebrated 30 years since our first record, 1986. So, hey, in the building, so 1986. So I've been doing this for 30 years. So I was a kid. So the things that I were doing had a beautiful, youthful exuberance to them that I try to maintain some piece of that, but the things that I think about and who I am and how I live on a daily basis is a little bit more complex than the Fresh Prince. So I'm trying to be brave enough to not cling backwards and to go bravely into the unknown, potentially unaccepted, So I want to be able to courageously go forward to find those new things and deliver those new ideas.
Anthony, why don't you had a question for the producer, so let's let
Yeah, the story isn't really a Christmas story exactly, but the holiday period is a time of both loneliness and magic, which really figured into the movie. I mean, it really is a time where people kind of take stock of family and take stock of what's important to them, and that really figured into it. And I think, besides thematically, the holiday season presented for David a way to beautifully talk visually about the magic in our lives, with the way that the beauty of the film is really in the lighting of the film, and these little points of light that come from the decorations and there's this elevated sense visually of what life can be, which really matches what's going on in the movie.
Okay, we have a question on this side.
Yes, hi. So I wanted to say thank you so much to the cast and crew for delivering what I consider 2016's Love Actually. It's such a lot of heart during this holiday season, minus the nudity and the pop soundtrack, which leads me to my question for you, Will. When are you going to return to music, and what is your favorite holiday song?
Oh man, when am I going to return to music? Well, I always record, so I probably have 60 records that I recorded, but it's about just finding that thing that really feels like it's going to deliver the truth of what I want to say. So I haven't hit that record. I've been in the studio with everybody, so I'm just looking for finding that way back in. So my favorite holiday song. What's that record? I was just listening with the Ella Fitzgerald and with Louis Armstrong. I really can't stay, baby. It's cold outside. I love that record. I've been begging Jada for 10 years, like, babe, that has to be our Christmas card. We have to just lip sync that record and we do that one. So there's something, that one really sets me into the Christmas.
She did that card with Edward.
Edward, that's right. Yeah,
Just got it.
That's right. Yes, I knew there was a reason.
Last two questions. First one right here in the front.
This question is to Will and all the actors. Howard faces tragedy, but his life starts changing after meeting 3 people. Can you think of any life-changing moment in your life?
Life-changing moments. Ed?
You're talking about Jada.
I know. I know exactly. I set myself up.
He's taking my line. I can think of a lot of them, but not sure what I would share.
Not for public consumption.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's I've had huge life-changing moments, almost all centered around love. I am a serious, hopeless romantic. I think the greatest experience of love I've ever had when my daughter was born. And, I remember, Willow was born. I took Willow and I sat her down with Jada, and just looking at the two of them, that was as full as I ever have been. Like, that is the maximum amount of love I've ever felt or experienced in my life. It was the safest and purest and happiest that I've ever been in my life. And I think subconsciously I chase that every day of my life. I chase that feeling and that experience.
I think when I saw Helen Mirren in Excalibur,
Yeah.
that was
No, that changed us all.
a very unique kind of change happened.
I'm glad you didn't say Caligula.
No, Excalibur was more like, like high class.
All right, last question from over here, please. On this side.
Hi. I have a question for Will and for Naomi. What is the collateral beauty that he finally finds?
I think a huge part of, and I touched on it a little bit earlier, is that Howard was trying to solve his problems with his mind. He thought he could think his way through this problem. And what he realized is he had to bleed, He had to suffer. He had to mourn. He had to let it go. And when he finally had the opportunity to just release and let it all go, the collateral beauty was the joy that he was seeking in the first place. It was the opportunity to be with this woman in a deeper and more profound, more authentic way than he had ever even dreamed possible. A big part of being able to love and to be able to have the experience of the Holy Ghost in your love is surviving with someone. It's like there was I think it was the Marines say, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. And it's like there's a certain amount of suffering that you have to go through with a person to experience the kind of love that we all crave. So I think that was the thing for Howard, realizing that that feeling that he wanted to have, that thing that he wanted to share with this woman, was on the other side of fully experiencing the pain and the loss. The collateral beauty was on the other side of what he was so desperately trying to avoid.
And for Naomi, a similar question. How does she keep, amid her grief, how does she keep that positive attitude that she has, like running the support groups, and she just seems like she's always radiating joy and beauty, and how does she keep that attitude?
I think the tragedy cracks you open, and this is something that Miley, the wardrobe assistant I was talking about before that worked well, taught me, was that tragedy cracks you open in such a way that it is incredibly, unbelievably painful, but it also means that life enters in a new, profound, beautiful way, which is healing and uplifting and life-affirming in a way that, I've never experienced. I can only imagine, and I can only try and portray that. But I think that's what's so magical about who Madeline is, that she has experienced that, and she's come out the other side of that, and now she gets her joy from staying connected with other human beings, staying connected with their pain and suffering, and trying to alleviate that in some way, which I think is that's an amazing way to live. That's an amazing thing to be about, giving to other human beings.
There's a wonderful Khalil Gibran quote that I love. He said, "Our pain is the knife that hollows us out so that we may hold more joy. And I thought that that was a really interesting idea, that you suffer that pain and, you know, you are torn open for the purpose of being able to hold more light and joy and positivity. And I think that that is the collateral beauty of the type of suffering that Howard experienced in this film.
Thank you. No more questions, and we're going to ask that the cast is going to leave first. Yes.
Woo.
Yeah. See how we did that?
It's like the president now. Like, everybody got to stay still.
Thank you all.
By the Secret Service.